Good, Noble. Everything still shut down. What the heck? Hold on. But I'm great. I'm great. Islamism. Islam. Yeah, I'm just all I'm doing is just doing, like I said, I do a lot of work from home. But no, I just do the basics, man. I told you my empress, she in the medical field, so she's steady going every day, being safe. And they give them they test their temperature every day, but she being safe. But besides that, yeah, everything good, man. I'm just keeping home straight. Got everything ready for her to come home, dinner made, you know. But besides that, we steady building, we steady growing. So give me 1 second, Morris. I got everything set up. I hope y'all get your pencils and your papers. Cause this is gonna be a beautiful demonstration. Cause I told y'all, everybody can be checked. Oh, most definitely. Oh yeah, they pay double. Yep. But remember, man. Remember one thing before we even get into this demonstration. Don't let nobody smooth talking. I don't care what they saying about a bunch of stuff that they're trying to act like they are the originators of. Remember, I give credit to Noble Drew Ali as a prophet in the flesh and an angel of Allah. If you know what an angel of Allah is, if you know what a prophet and a Messiah is, that's an angel of Allah in the flesh. That's one thing. We must understand that we don't gravitate to any man. We don't gravitate to any man. We gravitate to the science. Because the science was ancient, and we're going to synchronize this, and I'm going to show y'all this step by step, so you don't get caught up in no figure, so you don't get caught up in no man, so you don't get caught up in no religion. Because when you understand all this religion, if you're a historian and a scholar like these Moors say, because in the Moorish Science Temple, a sheikh is an adept. An adept supposed to hold a particular type of craft and skill set. There's many adepts, but in the Moorish Science Temple, adepts are sheiks and sheikas. That means we're Moors in our nationality, but I know many adepts. That's not Moors. I hope that's clear. So when we talk about this science, when you got these religious Moors, especially these Islam Negroes, and no disrespect to anyone, because we need to get out this shallow religious grave. We got these Islam black Muslims, and then we have these black Hebrew Israelites, and I say, brother, it's one nationality, many cultures. And if you a scholar, I don't give a damn what belief system you gravitate to. You will synchronize this, because I've been doing this legal through history and religion, all the ancient books. So all these books y'all are reading, a lot of more is reading that don't understand etymology and symbology, you tripping. I show y'all this over and over and over, what whitewashing in the history books consist of. What the medieval times and the dark ages. I demonstrated this on college campus, where you looking in African American history, you're not gonna find Moorish history. So let me check on one thing, because I got my computer up. I'm conversating with a couple people, because a lot of people is shocked, like the science I'm bringing to them, and they can't believe it. When I say, man, I don't care about nobody just talking a whole bunch of old stuff. I can care less about it. And then they talking this Noble Drew, and then they talking this more science temples, this more science temple crap. So hold your horses, we gonna demonstrate. And like I say, I don't give a damn about no temple. I'm part of the temple. I'm nationalized through the temple. I show y'all my paperwork. I'm finna demonstrate this again. And none of that paperwork mean nothing, because we haven't took it to the world courts. All our paperwork mean is we are part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But I'm gonna show you only one person took it to the world courts. Took it to the president. One person, and it never been done again. I showed y'all that. I showed y'all how the Declaration and Proclamation went to the Pentagon. And I'm gonna demonstrate this. And then, like I'm saying, y'all should be getting all that garbage out y'all head. Y'all should be asking these so-called grand sheiks and these grand governors all this, talking about this and that and the other. If the Moorish Science Temple, this and that and the other, why ain't nothing happening? And why everybody just talking and preaching like preachers? And it ain't no real movement. It ain't no real schools. Why all these Negroes just preaching? Why everybody dressed up like preachers? Why everybody give a damn about an ID card? Because we about to break this science down. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Why these Moors lying to y'all, telling y'all some 1010 number is some damn trust. Ain't no trust fund. Ain't no trust. That's an affidavit. I'm going to show y'all. So you can remove all this, what you thought or what somebody's saying, all these lies. I can show you how the temple established. I can show you what duality really means. I can show you what everything means. So you will not be caught up with people lying to you. Talk about some 1010 number is connected to some stupid ass trust at the end of the rainbow. And I show y'all people be lying. You can't lie to me. You can't lie because there's a thing in academia called the Free Information Act. It's a thing called the precedent of law cases. It's a thing called doc number. It's a thing called the National Archives. It's a thing called the Law Library. It's a thing called the Library of Congress. Don't come with me with no garbage, no lies. We can destroy all bullcrap once and for all. I'm going to do this one more time. Part 2, I'm going to break down the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment to show you can't nobody nationalize you or denationalize you. That's a sin and that's a crime. That ain't what our prophet taught. That ain't what nobody taught. No real more. If that's the case, tell them Negroes to nationalize a Sudanese, a Chinese. They have no power. They have no power. If they can nationalize you, why them Negroes don't have the power to nationalize anybody else? But they are bringing this garbage to our community. And they'll print you some card like that means something. And then you got all these Negroes making these fake ID cards. It's only one temple. I'm going to show you all this. It's only one. And if you ain't representing the temple, like you saying you're a Moorish Science Temple of America, you lying. And like I said, that don't mean nothing. If you're not right, if you're not going to tell the people the truth, you can be part of the temple and be just as a fraud as anybody else. When you think you have something over somebody, you ain't going to tell them the truth. Well, I'm not going to play no games with nobody's life. I'm not here to make you no fake ID. I'm gonna tell you what it is, why you can look it up in the law. That AA22 number, that's duality. One, you can look up the AA22 number and look up the clock of destiny in the Library of Congress and the Zodiac laws. Two, the AA22 number deals with reparations and restoring ourselves back to our original state. When you have 30,000 Negro, Black, and colored and misnomer Latinos and Mexicans sign a petition, and then we take it to the world courts. Anything else is straight up lies. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all get caught up with people just regurgitating garbage. And I say, man, that ain't no truth in what they telling you. And I ask Moors, why do you think when somebody prints you a card at home, what good is that? Oh, I'm about to break all this down. I'm about to show all this, Noble. I'm about to show you because if Moors say they the Moorish Science Temple of America, then all you got to do is go through the temple and do it the right way. You don't have to make up no fake ID with some Moorish Sundry Act with a whole bunch of fake stuff, with this stuff, with all this autotoxin and all this first people on your ID with some Sundry Moor Act, and those are citizens of Morocco, and your ID expiring. So don't even come with me with that garbage. Y'all should be just as upset as anybody else. When people just come and fraud you and think this ID card means something, I say, well, what body is attached to? We about to break all this down. Like, why would you want somebody to print you something that really don't mean nothing? And I say, everything can be looked up about the temple right here when I break it down. On the back of our cards and our nationality cards is some on the back of our cards. I'm going to break all this stuff down. So give me 1 second, Moors. Get your pencils and your papers. I'm going to do our Moorish American prayer. I'm going to do our warning to our prophet, and we're going to jump into this science, man. All right. What do you say? I seen so many frauds on social media, different cards, and it's funny because they don't even have the right symbols, just made up stuff. We about to dig today. Go on my YouTube page, Empress. And then you have these Negroes always want to throw the prophet name and stuff, and the prophet this, the prophet that. I said, man, let me tell y'all something. I ain't following no man so much where I'm all my faith in some man. I done told you. These teachings are ancient. And these teachings are before our prophet. I give credit to our prophet, just like I give credit to all other Moors that brought this science. I give credit to Abdul Hamid Solomon. I give credit to Deuce Muhammad. I give credit to Angelo Solomon. I give credit to the Black Hill of Harlem. I give credit to Clarence X. I give credit to Brother Malcolm X. I give everybody credit that brought this science to us. This ain't no Crips and Bloods. And our prophet told you he gathered and compiled. So we get into teachings. So I ain't that crazy. I'm alive in the flesh. So let's get it to our Moorish American prayer. And then our warning, then we're going to get right into these teachings. So Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Some things traditional I like. Some stuff I'm letting that garbage go. We're going to talk about our salat. When people just be telling you stuff that's in the Quran, I'm like, that ain't even in there. And how you doing stuff as the slave. They're not even telling you that was for the slave to go out while you meditate and relax. Because they ain't even interpreting the Quran the right way. They're interpreting the Quran from the perspective of a slave, not a God. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Come on my YouTube page more. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be your severe consequence. Oh, thanks for the donation too, man. Oh, if anybody want to give a $5 donation or whatever, I mean, Cash App $KGB. I'm not asking for nothing. If you feel it on your heart to give a $5 donation, let me know. I'll send you a PDF of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam that I gathered and compiled. It's that simple. But we are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Let me get my fan. Let me get my fan over here. They stupid. I don't know why. That's an idiot. Because why would you speak idiot of archaeology, of astrology and astronomy? And I told you, it's science that's valid. Nobody, a scholar, would go against the clock of destiny. No scholar, no academia, nobody would go over that history. I just broke the clock of destiny down 1 and 2 the other day. That's how you know these Negroes not adepts and not committed to scientists. Because these Negroes, this science. They do all these catchphrases, what's above is below. And then when I ask them what's above is below pertaining to your body, when I say every constellation has 3 deacons, when I talk about your hippocampus, when I talk about relaying everything in the constellation to everything in your body, when we talk about man made in the image of Elohim, they have no idea what I'm talking about. When I break down history and the Moorish calendar and how things is twisted, and when I show things down how people follow just these mystic things, they are getting twisted and lost because they're not adept and they're not scientists, and they giving our science to somebody else, and y'all know it. When I break that masonry down, that's our science. That's why the European, I show you, I demonstrate this over and over and over. That's why they wear the fez and clandestine. That's why they're 32 and 33 degrees. That's why the tassel was pinned down. It's snowman wisdom. They'll tell you. The fez, not the turban. The fez is the headdress, the national headdress for the 4 mothers and fathers of the world, of the civilization. So when people diss science, and then they diss in the zodiac laws, I say that's science. Well, if you dissing the zodiac, you dissing the clock of destiny right now, you're dissing God's law. You're dissing Allah's law because the zodiac laws is Allah's law. And if anybody dissing that, you should tell them that they a fool right now. I got the zodiac constitutions and everything right here. You should run away from them fools. I'm telling you, that's how you know they don't have love. Y'all, let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something, man. Oh, I keep forgetting, man. My fault, yo. I keep forgetting I'm all mic'd up. I'm all high tech now. My fault. My fault, Morris. Let me take my mic off. Let me show y'all something, man. Let me show y'all more something real fast, so we won't get it twisted. So when I tell y'all it's the teachings, and I gotta say this over and over and over because I don't think Moors catching what I'm saying and what I'm showing every time, to where you ain't gotta believe what nobody's saying. I'm giving you the facts, and it ain't nothing to
Why would you refute something?
That's facts. Only a fool does that. Hold on, Morris. Let me get this. Hold on. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry, Morris, I have to do that. Come to my YouTube page, Morris. Please. Come to my YouTube page. No way. Let me tell y'all something. When I tell y'all about adapt teachings, it ain't what nobody just talking about when they talk about some adapt chamber and all that, when they talk about a whole bunch of old stuff and how the temple is set up. That has nothing to do with you being no sheik. That just means you Google University, you just own the internet. Research and stuff. That has nothing to do with you understand any science. Talking about a whole bunch of old people, how they set up the temple, and who's this, and who's some supreme grand sheik, and who's not, and who's some grand governor. That does not qualify you to be no adept, man. And y'all should know that. Just like that don't qualify nobody to be no scholar. Just because you part of the Moorish Science Temple, you think that qualify you to be a scholar, man? And I get one of these Europeans that's a potentate that wear the fez and clandestine and a scholar, man, they'll run circles around these Negroes. That's why they wouldn't even have a conversation with them, because I'll laugh at them. I mean, they'll laugh at you because they'll be looking at me and I'll be like, go ahead. Now say all that goofy stuff that you be repeating to your brother, and they destroy that with scholarship. And they say the same thing I'm saying. Guaranteed. But where we stopped at? We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when the principles are violated, justice must take its course. Would you say it truly helps to look in the realm of esoteric teachings? Yeah. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah. I told y'all, if y'all want the books, I got them. I done printed them. After it, I'm going to show y'all all the books that I gathered and compiled. We got 20 books that we published. The science, no reason to be confused. Especially the book Divine Creed of Moorish Islam and my Sufism and the Triple Rule of the Adapt Chamber, featuring our Comediting tools. I wrote the science. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If we lose confidence in the prophet, we should turn in our cars, buttons, cease wearing our turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that we do our part in protecting the temple. This is an everlasting movement. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Right? We 19 minutes in. I was gonna do my Talesman benediction, but I want to jump into this science real fast. Well, not real fast, but I want to, proceed on. So please forgive me, Morris. Thanks for the donation, man. I appreciate it. And that's all I was telling Morris. Once we had a temple out here, if you come to the temple and we here and you would be invited to the temple, you wouldn't donate $5 or $10. And that's why I tell Morris, I'm not asking for nothing, but I would every time, especially if I'm getting the science. It would be nothing to me. So if anybody tell you this is not valid, when you will hear one of these goofball Moors, this is what they'll say. This is what they'll say, right? That's not the teachings that our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And I said Jew of food because our Prophet Noble Drew Ali was a Comeditant Adapt master. That's one. And you don't understand no science because, or you think he just went in the temple and just came up with all this science that he didn't study, that he went under no masonry. And I talk about no European masonry. I hope y'all, if you study the science, that's how I know Negroes don't read. Because when you open this, you can't refute nothing. You all caught up in some fake picture of Jesus and some fake picture of Allah or Muhammad. And I said, this Muhammad right here.
Everybody should hit the like buttons. That's why I be telling people, everybody should do it. Everybody did. One of my elders said, man, you should have millions of more. I said, because I'm educating. They don't like it. They want to be entertained. When y'all talk about some son of God or some or some Muhammad or whatever, right here. This is what the clock of destiny teach you. Man, I ain't even going to speak on that. I ain't speaking on no brother. What do you think of him? I ain't speaking on nobody. Like what I said, if that's what you follow. Nobody don't ask me no question about nobody. I'm telling you, I know a lot of stuff is trash. I'll talk about law. So I put real law against trash, and then the trash always reveal itself. I don't give a damn with a fez on. I don't give a damn how old you are. I don't give a damn if you call yourself some sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I say what temple you a grand sheik of. I ain't gonna get on no names, but I can put my law up against everybody else so-called fake Moorish law, like it's some real Moorish consulate, some Moorish American MAC number, and y'all been lying to people. So, hey, it is what it is. People follow who they want, and I say, I'll never tell you to do nothing to get you go to jail. I'll never tell you to do something I wouldn't do. I know people that tell people not to drive with license and do all this, and they ass don't even drive. They sit in the back seat, and they driver have license. So I can tell you stuff I know. I don't know about all that. Hey, I ain't standing in it. I don't give a damn what somebody break down if you can't use it. And let me tell y'all something. If you got a whole bunch of tools in your truck and you don't know how to use the tools, are they any good for you? Because this the science that I be saying. If knowing a whole bunch of law and all this, and the person still living in poverty, a person still ain't building, a person still don't have a temple of their own, it ain't no real movement. What's so good to learn? What's the purpose of knowing a whole bunch of stuff in your head? Honestly, because from the teachings I've been adept, I'm gonna show y'all. You supposed to, how can I say? If you understand the 7 Kemetic principles, the law of attraction, this ain't for nobody just to know something. This is for us to be masters of this universe. This is for us to attract certain things, especially tangible things, because our vessel is right. Are y'all following me? So this ain't for nobody that's trying to make money off of people, and that's my claim to fame, is to just talk and collect donations, and I don't have no body and no school. I'm not educating nobody. What is my purpose? So that's what I'll be telling people. I'll be telling people, what's the purpose? I can care less of a person on the internet going around talking this, talking that. And I'm like, okay, let's see if you using all that. Man, and then when a person try to use that, everybody that use that is in trouble. Everybody that follow that squad in the house is in trouble. They done lost their kids because you done fell for some fake law. You done fell for being a fraud. That's what I'm telling. So no disrespect to nobody. When a person asks me, what do I think about somebody? I'm the first thing I'm gonna say, what do you think about them? And if that's what you rocking with, rock with it. And we'll see how it works for you after the course of the years. After you get a whole bunch of IDs, after you pay to hear somebody talk over and over and over, and then you say, this is a real organization? Are we a nonprofit? Are you really a sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Because the Moorish Science Temple has the tax ID number. What's happening with the funds? Where is the temple? So whatever. That's the breakdown. Clock of Destiny 2. No way no more should this science. No way. Because then they tried to rewrite the science. Don't y'all see what's on the front of here? What that say? That infamous AA22 number that everybody be wanting to talk about? You can research this in the Library of Congress. Y'all see that right here? So tell people to stop lying. I'm telling you, man. Don't let nobody lie to you with that garbage, man. With that falseness. With that old mystery stuff. With that old spookism stuff. And try to act like this science ain't valid. What CMB was demonstrating to Negroes. What Abdul Hamid Solomon, when he came from Egypt, what he brought to the European Mason in New York. What Deuce Muhammad was telling these clowns. Man, y'all crazy, man. You got to be crazy. The Zodiac constitutions. And they always talk about what the prophet did. This is what the prophet did, that. They don't even know. And then another piece of paper. How I show y'all that 1010 number don't mean nothing. Right now. Here go the 1010. Everybody talk about this some trust fund. Well, I just showed you. The CCRD, I email anybody this. I showed y'all that's a fraud and a lie. The 1010 ain't nothing but a affidavit of organization. Let me get to the good part. Watch this. Let me tell you what they say. Okay, it says, I'm going to go to the question. Watch this. Hell yeah, the clock of destiny is power. That's why these Negroes poor. And they just making money from y'all. Because they don't want to understand the science. The science is valid. Nobody dispute it. European Masons won't dispute it. Potentating European Masons won't dispute it. Nobody with some sense won't dispute it if they scientists. Because European Masons, they sons of Muslims. I'm telling you. The only person that dispute that is a Negro with a motive, because they not scientists and they poor, making money off y'all, and they not an organization. They don't want to fall in a particular brotherhood. That's on them. So what are the procedures for filing documents under the 805 ILCS Religious Corporation Act related to property, mortgage notes, etc.? This was Sheikh Lionel L. and Sheikh Ismoto D. Love L. with Moorish Zion Temple. This to Karen Yobel, Recorder of Deeds, Register of Torrents, title of Cook County, Illinois. When they asking about some 1010 number and is this some trust and all this stuff. So let me get to the part that I was reading. It said, what are the procedures, including the Moorish Zion Temple of America, to list the body politics on file with the County Cook Record of Deeds? Response, the CCRD does not maintain a list of body politics. With this said, as mentioned above, the CCRD accepts documents relating to the organization and corporation of the religious entity under the Religious Corporation Act. The document that you are concerned with, document 1010-5905, has already been recorded by the CCRD. She says, isn't it true, in accordance to provisions made possible by body politics under home rule, that documentation and law of the Moorish Zion Temple of America as a body politic are applicable under the management of said trust? Respond, the CCRD is unaware of what specific documentation and laws are applicable to the management of any trust maintained by or for the benefit of the Moorish Zion Temple of America. I would like to note that the Religious Corporation Act states that the trustees, religious organizations shall have care, custody, and control of real property of the organization. See Law 805 ILCS 110-43. The CCRD is not a trustee of any trust or trust assets being held by or for the benefit of the Moorish Zion Temple of America. What it says. Let me get y'all to the good part. Let me get y'all to the good part. Okay, number 7. This the good part right here. Is the office aware that the unauthorized issuance and collections of funds resulting from the issuance constitutes a breach of register, fiduciary duty as custodians, criminal fraud, embezzlement, etc.? Here go the response. Your position is legally and factually incorrect. Please see the relevant statutory authority reference above. In some of your other correspondence, you indicate that the CCRD have refused to file certain real estate and non-real estate related documents and index under the trust 1010-5905. To be clear, document 1010-5905 is not a trust document. Do y'all hear me? The 1010-5905 is not a trust document. This document is simply an affidavit of organization under the Religious Corporation Act. Now let y'all tell me some garbage. Now go ask these liars. What is the means of this document serves as a record that the Moorish Zion Temple of America is organized, incorporated as a religious corporation under the Religious Corporation Act. The CCRD is not a trustee of any trust or trust assets made by or for the benefit of the Moorish Zion Temple of America. Now let's break some simple science down. Trustee. What is a trustee? A trustee, you have to be trusted with something. Money, some tangible property or something. Okay, so therefore, what do the Moorish Zion Temple have in a trust? Don't say no magic pot at the rainbow. Don't say no temple, because the temple been abandoned. So you a lie. Number 2, the responsibility lies with what? The Moorish Zion Temple of America. If you are having difficulty recording the certain documents in our office, please refer to the requirements, refer to the legal authority cited above. I ain't even got to finish it. Let's move along. Let's move along. I'm telling you, man, this is too simple. Let's move along. Now, oh, I dropped the cards. Whoa, oh, almost pulled this bug again. Y'all forgot I'm plugged up. Boy, I need me some wireless stuff. All right, anyway, bam. So now, I just told y'all that the 1010 number ain't nothing but an affidavit, right? I just told y'all that, and I just told y'all the Moorish Zion Temple of America, we have 3 IDs. We have our nationality card. We have our nationality card. We have our travel ID card. And we have our tax exempt card. Did y'all hear what I said? We have our tax exempt card for the Moorish Science Temple of America. We have our tax exempt card for the Moorish Science Temple of America. Boom. Number one. Number two, on the back of our cards, it's some on the back of our cards. I think it says Moorish Bureau Vital Statistics, registered Muslims. Let me read it. That's the same thing that's in this manual, what's on the front and the back of our cards that mean things. Hey, Empress.
Hello.
How you doing?
Fine.
How was your day?
Fine.
Give me one. All right.
Hello.
We back, y'all. Okay. So now, every more should be transparent. One, how can somebody print you something they ain't part of nothing? How can somebody print you an ID card and they not a part of nobody or no nothing? So if you want an ID, you might as well go on Amazon and get you a damn ID card machine and make you one. The first thing I told y'all about the law is proclaiming, declaring to have due process. And the next you'll ban your L to all your government ID. That's number one. That's number one. And if anybody tell you to get rid of anything, they are lying and saying they don't know law. Because how you going to prove something if you get rid of your evidence? Ding, ding, ding. So on the back of our ID cards, it says, the ecclesiastical body politic established via CCRD, document 1010. Well, didn't I just read that to y'all? Didn't I just read that to y'all what this is? And you going to let somebody lie to y'all and print some card? That's why I said it's garbage. So the via CCRD document 1010, 5905, book 5, 21, page 579. Where it's at? Didn't I just give you all this? The Cook County of Registered Deeds. Let me finish. This is on the back of our cards. That's why I said, listen what I'm saying, and then they start asking a person. And then you will see all smoke and damn mirrors. Cook County, Illinois, on August 1st, 1928, 29, one of them, 2:52 p.m. It's in small letters, but I'll show it in the other stuff. Moorish Science Temple of America, Charter of Warrant and Dispensation, Affidavit of Organization Form 1099, Moorish Science Temple Divine Constitution and Bylaws Act, and Federal Code 463 in parentheses Asiatic, Federal Code 667 in parentheses more, unique identifier 1237-7, Hebraical Code R 1.01.05.2.004 comma US .doj number BM $$ HR $1WD -144-35-0. If y'all don't know what them numbers are, I'm giving y'all stuff where you can look up everything and be like, check, 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 fact, law, science. The bearer of this card is an enrolled member. Listen what I just said. The bearer of this card is an enrolled member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This card is acceptable proof of membership and citizenship of this said trust corporis. What said trust corporis? The Moorish Science Temple of America. Are y'all listening? I do hereby declare that the holder of this card is a Muslim under the divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And then he say, I am citizen of the USA. Let me tell you why? Because the Negro, black, and color could never be a citizen and have what? Human rights. We'll get deeper with the science if y'all understand what I'm saying. If y'all understand what I'm saying. If you don't, that's why you should be educated. And right on here, it talks. I'll show y'all in the sign. They tell y'all what's on the back of every more nationality card. If it's set up, how the prophet set it up. When a person acting as the power of attorney or your estate. Like if I'm dead or something in Allah's will, my empress or somebody can act as the power of attorney and do business in my name. Y'all ain't understanding me. That's the hairs of a trust. Y'all ain't listening to me. Of this what? This body politic. Let us begin with Act 6 of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution, the bylaws. Act 6, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of what government? This said government, and know that they are not Negroes. Man, I don't even, hey, I told you, I know a lot of them in jail right now. I got a letter from a lot of people. I know people going to jail right now. They scrambling. I'm telling you, they scrambling right now. But colored folk, you're not colored folk, black people or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, blah, blah, blah. On our ID cards, when it said you are a member of the Moorish Zion Temple of America, Divine and National Movement of North America, all this stuff is on our ID cards. All this stuff that I'm reading is on our ID cards. The affidavit of corporation, the religious affidavit filed for records in Cook County, state of Illinois. Where does that social security number go? Let me show y'all why I'm demonstrating. I can show y'all when more be talking all that goofy stuff. Where does the social security number, where you see that 1010 number? You see that 101099 number up there, y'all? Where does the social security number, the 1010-5905 appear, and what does it represent? On August 1st, 1928 at 2:52 p.m., Form 1099 was filed for record in Book 251 on page 579, Affidavit SS 1010-5905. This number is also the number of the Affidavit of Corporation, Religious Affidavit of Organization filed for records in Cook County, state of Illinois. So, done with that demonstration. And this don't mean nothing if we don't take it to the next level. So, bam, cause I told my embers I'm gonna try to be organized. So I'll pull out some paperwork when Moors don't understand nothing, when people just be printing you cards and stuff. Every Moor that's went through the temple and went through it, what? Oh, I know. And went through a specific initiation. Mama was saying that too, like you getting too big. You should have your paperwork. This right here is my 720 Allah. May Allah blessings and protection always be upon the house of Bey. The title of nobility, certificate, Noble K. Goodman Bey, registry of Noble House of Bey, a descendant of the royal house of Judah. And I mean, this is just what it is. Because there's only one more Zion temple and subordinate temples. I mean, you can't get mad. House of Bey, the title of nobility, 720, Moorish American Muslim. Everybody should have this. Moorish American Science Temple of America, International Consulate of Moors, Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder, 259 North Polic Road, Chicago, Illinois, Republic, certificate of enrollment. Every Moor should have this if they say they're part of the temple, because this is how the prophet set it up. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. If you don't understand that, then okay. But it ain't here to have no argument with nobody. And this don't mean that I'm better than you. Certificate of adoption. Here go the certificate of adoption. Here go our certificate of adoption. This is my certificate of enrollment. Here go my Moorish Science Temple of America, International Consulate of American Moors. I gave you all that. Which one for the, which one? You talk about this one? You talk about this one? I have to print them because I don't have them PDF no more, man. I told y'all, man, I think I got a lot of stuff PDF. I'll be sending them to people. Let me see if once I see if I got a PDF, I'll send it to you like a $20 donation. If I got to print it, it'll be $40 because I got to print it. But as soon as I got a PDF, I'll PDF it to you, man. That's why I say we just trying to help support this movement so we can get our physical temple. That's all. No scam here. Everybody get a tax-exempt receipt for everything. The Moorish Science Temple of America, our ecclesiastical body politic, and the local government, the Moorish Bureau of Enrollment and Affairs, our Moorish allodial title and deed, commercial affidavit of convenience and adoption. I mean, a lot of stuff that's done by our notary, our divine constitution and bylaws. So that's that. Let me put that back up because I got to do things the right way because I get a whooping. Hey, I told you I ain't going to be a mess, babe. I'll try to keep everything. We just going to demonstrate. Now, here go my baptism. My Moorish Science Temple of America, my baptism, and it has my stamp with my redeemed surety bond on it. And I'm just saying that people talk about it through the temples, and then they want to diss something they don't know about because somebody did some garbage. So I'll read that to you. The Moorish Zion Temple of America baptismal certificate, the address where the temple is at, name given at birth, my name, free national name given at baptism, Noble K. Goodman Bay, true race, Asiatic, nationality, Moorish America, and the Masonic members of the Moorish Zion Temple are moored by the words I am a city. They don't even know. They don't even know, man. I'm gonna break things down to freedom of law when I talk about the 3/5 clause and the 5/5 clause, when I talk about the Dred Scott law. And then I start asking more questions about duality of things, and they be getting twisted because they be listening to somebody. I don't know about the Temple of Chicago out of Valley still. That's what I'm saying. This is what I did years ago. This is what I'm telling Moors. I don't know. Because a lot of the Moors, if you ask me names, I'll be like, oh, them niggas are some frauds. Because I told y'all, when I first got into the deep into science, I had my own metaphysical temple out here in Arizona. So I knew a lot of Moors. These Negroes ain't had no place. I let them come to my metaphysical temple. These Negroes didn't know I had elders that was old adepts and things telling me to watch these Negroes. And so when I started coming with the science, they got mad at the wisdom in the library I had in the connections that they're gonna try to say, I ain't no more. They want to try to take my Moorish name, and I'm gonna break that down. My elders ripped their ass a new butthole. Then they all got scared. They was like, no, we're gonna start exposing this because I know all their business. That's why I don't say nobody name. And I just say, if you following that, that's what it is. So if a person asks me a person name, I'll speak in general, and I hope you catch it. That's why I tell people, if you're looking for true love, you know where it is. All you got to do is put a clean glass up to a dirty glass, because the building ain't the temple. It's the adept that'll teach the science. And it's the laws that can trump anything a Negro doing, anything that a temple can do. If they want to act goofy and funny, we can go straight international law, and all that stuff they be doing, they can keep playing church. And we can move forward because it's the teachings. I'm telling y'all, man. So let's finish. Nationality, Moorish American. Because you were Moorish American before our prophet opened the temple. Y'all got to know that for a fact. Nationality, Moorish American. Religion, Islamism. Status, free white. I hope y'all know what I'm saying. Our adapt chamber. When Negro will be talking about the adapt chamber and all this, and adapt chamber and adapt chamber, this, that, and the other. The adapt chamber, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. So here go some of our teachings. Muslim missionary degree certificate. You will hear a liar and a fraud. This is the first thing a liar and a fraud to say that don't have any degrees, that they don't have any science. They'll say, oh, we don't need degrees anymore. Well, how the hell do you call yourself an adapt and a sheik and you don't have no degrees? So you on some elementary science, and this brother on PhD science, on master teacher science, and you think you can even have a conversation with this brother? I don't give a damn how old you are. You should be a student. You should be a student, and you limit it. Just like in martial arts, if your teacher only can work with his feet, and I can work with my feet, my hands, the weapons, and I'm spiritual, and I can beat you with my defense. I study Wing Chun. You limit it. And that's the thing brothers be trying to compete. I said, just because you're a more part of the temple don't make you no damn adept. Just because you went through some so-called adept chamber with some goofball don't make you a scientist. How? How? I told y'all, I know. That's what I told El Shabazz. I tell people, I call them out, I know who they are. That's why you'll never see them come on here with no garbage with me. Didn't I say this paperwork don't mean nothing to me? I will rip this shit up, because once I found out the truth and the laws, I'm a real law student. I say this shit don't mean nothing because they ain't took it nowhere. Period. So it's a way to do things when we gather. Because let me tell you something about law. It's many people that came together as what? Tribes, and became nations. All you got to do is research international law. What group of people became tribes in the last 20 years? And that's easy international law. And then it'll tell you how tribes can become nations. Simple. With their own flag. Are y'all listening to me? So yes, the prophet did something, but we can take it to a whole nother level. I'm telling you. So here go our adapt chamber. Supreme Grand Body and Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Zion Temple of America in Mecca have been visited with sovereign powers by the great God Allah and illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali to confer degrees of a Muslim of the West to a person or person that has been raised 180 degrees from a shadow grave. Don't y'all know this all European masonry stuff? This all the Ku Klux Klan stuff? I'm telling you, they study the Quran. Why you think the Ku Klux Klan, they manual, it's the Chlorian. It's the Quran, but they put the KL on it for the Klux. If y'all don't got to listen to me, I told y'all, I'll bring my chair and own table to their table, and they agree with everything I'm saying, because I'm not a Negro. I promise you this. But 180 degrees from a shadow grave. from a shallow grave. How we been raised from the shallow grave? Because in Massery, they buried your black ass in a shallow grave from you Negro Masons. That's who Haram Abif is. They buried your ass in a shallow grave. And the tomb with the mole, with the pentagram, all that shit represents you. They buried you in a shallow grave, and you falling for that garbage. And our empresses, our empresses that wear the feds talk about they some Eastern stars under some Europeans. No disrespect to nobody. You are the Eastern star. You are the daughter of American Revolution. They buried your ass in a shallow grave too. Nah, and you can't prove me wrong, because the white thug with the gold tassel represents you. That's why I be telling y'all, these Negroes call themselves sheiks, will tell our empresses that they can't wear the fez, well, the white fez with the gold tassel represents them. That's the birth cycle, Negro. That's 9 to the 9 to the 9th power. Prove me wrong. You can't. You can't, because these Negroes fools. Point blank, man. There's only one way to say it. I, Noble Kareem Goodman Bey, my obligation as a Muslim missionary by free will, the obligation of the nobility of the elect of the Moorish Science Temple of America, teaching the Asiatics of North, South, and Central America to do what? Love instead of hate. As I travel the burning sands of the east to the west in 39 celestial steps with my staff of comfort, my companion, the beast of burdens, and my Hebrew master logo of perfection. My Hebrew master logo of perfection. With any more distant shit. I do hereby upon my holy Quran, circle 7, demonstrate my degrees. When these Negroes talk about they don't need no degrees. Why you don't need no degrees? And our wisdom and our science, we go with degrees. Because these some rogue Negroes. Think about it. Demonstrate my degrees. What degrees? My science degrees. I have degrees in a whole bunch of educational houses. This is what I'm telling y'all. That's why I'm certified with experience. I ain't out here playing. What do y'all think this is about? I don't give a damn what nobody have. A book, I can care less if you have a book. I bet you don't know the science. I bet you can't interpret it. I bet you can't manifest shit. I bet you can't manifest nothing of all that you read. And I don't give a damn how many books you read. If your life in shambles, them books don't mean a damn thing. Point blank, man. So miss me with that stuff. How you think you're going to know something and the person that you studying from is limited? It's limited. And all they read is the Quran. You ain't no master teacher. You ain't no master or nothing. You're not an adept. Nothing. But with my circle 7 demonstration, demonstrate my degrees to raise falling humanity from its imperfections with the degrees of social duties, justice, charity, gratitude, and sincerity. In my travels, Allah guide my feet in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and I shall not give ear to falsehood, hypocrisy, and deceit. That's why I be coming so manufactured with these teachings. Man, this is the breath of Allah. I don't have time to be playing with y'all, man. With all these Moors playing with this false science. I'm coming serious. We have no time to play. What's so funny? As I travel the burning sands, I possess my charter of warrant and dispensation. What charter and warrant and dispensation? Right here, my charter and warrant and my dispensation, my authority to pass through all ports unmolested with my divine rights and privileges. All sons of a Muslim must hold true to its obligation to nobles, Muslims, and Mohammedans by words and deeds. Are y'all listening to me? That's why these Moors don't have no power to do nothing. That's why when y'all see me operate, I'm always joyful. That's why when you see me around European Masons, no disrespect, they bow down. And not bow down or disrespect, they know that they're sons of Muslims. So who the hell you think the daddy is? When they get to a certain level and wear the fez, their password becomes Assalamu Alaikum. And they become a practicing Muslim. Don't y'all know this? Why you think they wear all black? Why you think they ceremonies? Why you think everything on their skirt, the workman tools, is about perfecting ourselves? They done took everything that's inside and made it an outside analogy and got you Negroes caught up in an illusion. And we are the enlightened ones. Point blank. So, United States of America, Free National Republic, 1774. U.S. President Abraham Lincoln, 1865. Amnesty Oath. And then you're going to let some nigga talk about, we don't need this no more. How you going to say you don't need something and the Noble Drew Ali set the temple up and it's still valid? If that's just like you set something up and then some nigga will try to recopy your thing and say, oh, you don't need that what Brother Tyrell set up. And you say, why? It's valid. His procedure still valid. His charter still set up. Why change anything? So I, Kareem Goodman Bey, do solemnly affirm in the presence of Almighty God that I will henceforth faithfully support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Union of the States thereunder, and that I will, in like manner, abide by and faithfully support all acts of Congress passed during the existing rebellion with reference to slaves, so long so forth as not repealed, modified, or held void by Congress or by decision of the Supreme Court, and that I will, in like manner, abide by and faithfully support all proclamations of the President made during the existing rebellion having reference to slaves, so long forth modified or declared void by decision of the Supreme Court, so help me God. And then here go my other part. By the power of the decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, to register all nobles of the house of Bey to their title of nobility, pursuant to Leviticus 25 and 10. By the power of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Americans are the royal house of Judah, descendant of King David, free simple absolute deed. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the descendants, inhabitants of Africa, who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his sons were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the domain of Amexima, the first true and divine name of Africa. Don't you know they wasn't no damn Ethiopians? They was Abyssinians. Come on my YouTube page, please, Empress. The dividing of the land between the father and son, the dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of the brethren of Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and to inhabit Northwest Africa. They were the founders and the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan, seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitants extended from northeast, southwest Africa, across Great Atlantis, even until the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake, which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. So here go my one of my other. This is my 720 Allah Noble Decree. We the Supreme Grand Body and Grand Council of Moorish Science Temple of America, Grand God, Allah, and the illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Greetings to who it may concern. I taught that yesterday. We was all over England and Britain. I be telling people, Negroes be so caught up in Africa. I said, man, we were all in Europe. We were all over there. Like, why you think they celebrate the Moors in the Netherlands? When they think they making a mockery, when they celebrate Black Peter, Swarty Pyatt. And they try to say the reason why so-called Santa Helper is black because he went down to Chimney, and that's Santa Claus. And once you start breaking the history down, you will show you, I told y'all, Moors was all over. We are the European Moors. I'm telling you, man. That's why we can educate things, just like when I get in the Library of Congress, I tell Moors, a person can try to come with that fake Turkish stuff, that mixture down as we been, how can we say it, gene splicing, whatever, but we'll get in the true Library of Congress, and I'll show y'all that the true Moors and the true Aboriginals, the Turks are the Moors, point blank. I'll show y'all that. I'll show you, just like I'll show you the Nigerians and are the Igbos, are the true Jews, genetically proven. I'll show you this because there was a thing called whitewashing in history. And if you don't believe that, I'm coming from where they come from. I come from the Royal Libraries. I come from the National Archives. I'm telling you, the story you got is pseudo. And they agree everything I'm saying, I guarantee you, because all of my lectures I did them on college campuses. So it is what it is. But listen to this. We the Supreme Grand Body and Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America, grant sovereign powers by the great God Allah and his illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali. Greetings to who this may concern. By the power of this charter of warrant and dispensation, this Supreme Grand Body bestow a title of nobility to member Kari Hakim Goodman Bey, that is a descendant from the royal house of Judah and that of the house of David. Did y'all hear what I just said? Yeah, I'm about to break that down. The Rosicrucian, they tell y'all where they got the science from. They got the science from the Moorish Akashic records. I'm about to break that down. We got one more hour. Nobody, you all in my head. I'm about to break all this down. I told you it's the science. I don't get caught up in no man. Man, Allah works through man. And Allah in me. So please, we in the flesh. We got to proceed. We give credit and we keep it pushing. By the power of this charter of war and dispensation, this Supreme Grand Body bestowed title of Noble. Okay, gave y'all that. By the power of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by the illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali, agents of this Christian church, the Vatican, and any other corporation in the Roman Curia, can't molest, trespass, or violate our divine and our divine rights granted by the great God Allah. The powers of this decree is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali to register all nobles of the house of El to their title of nobility pursuant to Leviticus 25 and 10. By the power of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali, pursuant to all authority, all Moorish Americans are exempt from prosecution except for murder or rape. And I hope, and that have to be explained to y'all. That ain't mean you outside no law. If you take that out of context, I'll easily correct you. Because we obey all the laws. And if you don't understand that, you are alien and outside the parameters of the law. Point blank. Point blank. So, as you were saying, Noble, we ain't even got into to the meat yet. So when I tell Morris, if you got your one-on-ones, you understand what a prophet and an angel is. You understand you understand things. If you read your one-on-ones, all your mystery will be gone. That's why I'm like, these Negroes not reading their one-on-ones. Because if they read their one-on-ones, especially these Negroes, they call themselves sheiks, none of this stuff they saying they would be doing. That's how you know it's a fraud. Because all you got to do is read your one-on-ones and be like, wait a minute. Like, why is you this and this? And it says right here who this is. And it says we don't diss this. It says he's your brother. It said Jesus is your brother. I just broke down we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. Yesterday I just broke down the other day I just broke down how the Bible, how the Asiatic man is the father of civilization proved by the Bible. I just broke all that down. I just broke all that down. I'm telling y'all. So watch this. I wish I had my Unto Thee I Grant over here, but I'm not. Let's break some science down. Watch this. The work of infinite wisdom. I hope y'all know what infinite wisdom. Get your pencil. It's now published as Unto Thee I Grant. I gave that to y'all when I talk about monotheism. When I show y'all this is our science. So let's reverse. The work, infinite wisdom, is now published as Unto Thee I Grant. The readings in our Holy Quran that diverge from Unto Thee I Grant follow infinite wisdom. In two instances, in our Quran, our Moorish Quran, it diverges from both. In the first instance, when it says, enough of evil is allotted unto man, but he maketh it more while he lamenteth it, is left out of chapter 44, verse 10. And in verse 19 of the same chapter, who remembered himself in joy becomes who remember themselves as a boy. And here is one more instance where our prophet Noble Drew Ali, his change improved as the original. Chapters 19 to 44 of our Moorish Quran are found in pages 19 to 63 of Unto Thee I Grant, and pages 27 to 102 of the Infinite Wisdom. The Akashic Records. I hope y'all follow what I'm talking about. Let's dig. Now, we ain't even, well, you should be getting chills. Our prophet Noble Drew Ali did not plagiarize nothing. He ain't plagiarized a damn thing. There are many accusations and people, even Moors. Just like when someone go inbox me, I got a whole bunch of records from Northwark where Noble Drew Ali was accused of a statutory rape. I said, man, I don't give a damn. I'm dealing with the science. And I said, if he did anything, I hope he went to jail for whatever he did. Because I don't put no faith in man. I deal with the science. I'm dealing with the science. I ain't dealing with no man's personal life. I ain't dealing with no man. I can give a damn about no man's personal life. If that man molested some babies, whatever he did, the nigga should go to jail. That's what I call him. But the science is valid, and you can't refute it. And I ain't finna punch no man, and he gone, and all the work he done. And that's what we do as individuals. We are trying to tear all our prophets down that did so much for the people, for a nigga ain't did a damn thing, sitting at his own home on a damn computer. Ain't did nothing. Ain't did nothing. Ain't did nothing. We're trying to destroy all the good works of our mighty men that gave their lives for a movement. And these Negroes won't even give their life for their own family. These Negroes will sell out. They'll sell out on a whole movement. They won't even do 6 months. A Negro will sell you out and scared to do 6 months. Point blank. Because I know that for a fact. IG is logging off, so log back on, y'all. Yeah, we finna finish. These Negroes, I'll be asking niggas, I don't even know what they talking about when they don't understand words when I say divinely prepared. Divinely prepared mean it came from somewhere. He had to get it from somewhere. It is extremely important that we be clear in the language. When I say you must understand the language we use when making accusations, because you may intentionally or unintentionally commit acts of libel or defamation of character. Just as it's a crime to steal someone's work, just like it's a crime to steal someone's work, plagiarize it, or ideas and claim it as your own. It's also a crime. Just like what these Negroes doing with these ideas, I told y'all the law is getting ready to be enforced. And then they're going to ask these Negroes a certain question. Are you part of the Moorish Science Temple? Prove it. You can't. Plagiarism, the practice of taking someone else's work. What work? Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's his work. He set it up with an affidavit or ideas and passing them off as someone's own. Plagiarize, to take one's work, idea somewhere else's, and pass it on as someone else's. If you look on the title of Noble Drew Ali work, it don't say he, the author, or nothing. So be clear, because I'll pull the Quran out and I'll tell you exactly what it says on the front of it. Plagiarism, a verb, the act of appropriating the literary composition of another author, or excerpts, ideas, or passages, their form, and passing the material off as one's own creation. Plagiarism is theft of another person's writing or ideas. The temple is our prophet's ideas. Generally, it occurs when someone steals expressions from another author's composition and makes them appear to be their own works. Plagiarism is not a legal term. However, it is often used in lawsuits. Courts recognize as acts of plagiarism as violations of copyright laws. Copyright laws. Watch this. How when Negroes think they original when they use a Nike sign and they're saying more on it, no disrespect to no one, that's not original. You cannot use nobody's stuff that's already copyrighted. Only reason why they ain't shut you down because it ain't a lot of money being made. If they want to enforce the law, they can shut you down. Why? Because that's their logo and it's copywritten. That's high. That ain't hating. That's just law. Specifically as the theft of another person's intellectual property, because copyright law allows a variety of creative works to be registered as the property of their owners. Lawsuits, liens, plagiarism can be based on the appropriation of any form of writing, music, visual images. Visual images. Visual images. What's visual images? Taking somebody a logo and brand and using it for theirs. Copyright infringement. That's how. Man, a big company will let you think you get you so big and shut everything down about you and shut everything down and sue you for so much money, you would be afraid to do anything because you ain't do your homework first and copyright your logo or anything. You just wanted to sell something to people. I'm telling you, I done seen it happen. I done seen a person be in business for a couple years, think they doing something, boom, they come down, shut everything down, bam. They was like, why you ain't do it the right way? I said, I've been telling them. Defamation, the act of damaging the good reputation of someone, slander, or libel. A libel is a published false statement that is damage to a person's reputation. A written defamation. Just like when people be slandering people and you don't know their businesses and you talk that stuff and it ain't valid, you in trouble. The Free Dictionary by Farlex Legal Section states, defamation is a verb. Any intentional false communication, either written or spoken, that harms a person's reputation, decreases their respect, regard, and confidence in which a person is held, or induces despairing, hostile, or disagreeable opinions or feelings against a person. Defamation may be a criminal or civil charge. It encompasses both written statements known as libel or libel and spoken statements called slander. I hope y'all know what slander means. So we ain't even got deep. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moors. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali published the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America in 1927. And however, he never claimed to have wrote the Quran, nor has he claimed it was of his own ideas. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali actually claimed the opposite, Moors. Noble Drew Ali stated on the cover of the Holy Quran that it was divinely prepared. And the word divine means of or from God. And prepared means what? To make something ready for use or consideration. Due to the name correction in 1928, there are two versions of the Holy Quran. One reads the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, and the other reads the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And both of them the same science. So don't let nobody get you caught up in that garbage. Both of the pamphlets are from the same organization, founded by our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, where people be trying to get you caught up in dumb stuff. And I say, well, let's open a book and go from page for page. It's the same science. So don't let nobody get you caught up in that dumb stuff. Number two, when people be trying to say he plagiarized this from Levi down the Aquarian Gospels, let's destroy that garbage real fast. You see how Negroes always try to destroy our own people because they're not scientists? Let's deal with the science. Levi Dowling's Aquarian Gospels of Jesus Christ, published December 1st, 1908. He stated, and I quote, I transcribed. So get the word transcribed in your head. So you got to understand what the word transcribe means. I transcribed the text of the book Aquarian Gospels. From where? From the Akashic records. From where? Akashic records. From where? The Akashic records. The Akashic records that I show y'all, the manual I got. How I started manifesting this thing to myself, understanding what my destiny on this earth. That's where he got it from. From the Akashic records, a purported compilation of mystical knowledge encoded in a non-physical plane of existence. And therefore, Mr. Levi H. Dowling, too, has claimed the information in his book was not of his own. And then when we talk about the Unto Thee I Grant, Sir Ramatherios, Unto Thee I Grant, published in 1925. Sir Ramatherios, as well as the Rosicrucian Order, stated, out of the mysteries of the past come this antique book, Unto Thee I Grant, that was written 2,000 years ago, but was hidden in the manuscript form from the eyes of the world and given only to the initiates of the temples in Tibet to study privately. Now, what do our prophets say in the beginning of our Quran? Why the 18 missing years of the Quran was missing? Why do we say? And who had them? I just read it. Let me read this back to y'all again. But it says, the Unto Thee I Grant, that was written 2,000 years ago, but was hidden in manuscript form from the eyes of the world and given only to the initiates of the temples in Tibet to study privately. So what do our prophets say in the introduction of our Moorish Quran? Why the 18 mission years was missing and who had them? Wait. What do we say? What do we say? What do we say in the introduction of our Quran? Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? Right? And therefore, Mr. Sir Ramathero, too, has claimed the information in his book was not of his own. Divinely prepared, 1927, within the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali says exactly where he received the teachings within the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America on page 3. On page 3, and it reads, the reasons these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. The same thing what I just told y'all, how all the other writers quote where they got where they got the science from. The lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity, as I, the prophet and the servant, is worthy of his hire. Prophet Noble Drew Ali referring that these teachings are an ancient teachings in which he does not take credit for, and neither does Levi Dowling or Mr. Sir Ramathero. With much respect, Moors. In addition, according to the legal definition, the denotative definition, the etymological definition of plagiarism, as well as the words of the author of said sources, Prophet Noble Drew Ali did not plagiarize the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And according to the Rosicrucian website, Mr. Sir Ramathero is not the originator of the information provided in the book titled Unto Thee I Grant. Did y'all hear what I said? Out of the mysteries of the past come this antique book that was written 2,000 years ago, but was hidden in a manuscript form from the eyes of the world and given only to the initiates of the temple in Tibet to study privately. According to the Aquarian Gospel to Jesus Christ, Mr. Levi Dowling states that he meditated in the quietest hour, 3 a.m., to then receive access to the Akashic records, which he transcribed. He transcribed. Mr. Levi H. Dowling, according to his book, he was nothing but a transcriber and was known to his followers as a transcriber. That's it. What is our religion? Islamism. Is it a new religion or old time? It's old. It's old. I mean, that's what that is. We're going to continue to walk. We're going to continue to walk because I'm almost done. No, I ain't. I got an hour. So I'm trying to get through this. See this? Y'all see this, Morris? Woo! They ain't going to show y'all this. See, I ain't even going to pull out all of it. Man, I got so many manuscripts, man. And so all they're gonna talk about is some old stuff, who did this. No, it's the science, man. Y'all see this right here? Y'all see this science right here, man? If y'all understand stuff, she ain't laying down. You see, she really, if you look at stuff, you see, really she's standing up. So watch this. This is resurrecting. We resurrecting ourselves. You know, I ain't even gonna get all into the teachings of all this, but I'm gonna give y'all a little bit in documents. I'm gonna give y'all a little preface of what in here, and I hope y'all listen to what I'm saying. Official documents that were collected to cause the development of this science. The official documents of the person who honored the determinations in the names El or Bay, race Asiatic, and nationality Moorish American. So this is all the stuff in this book. Number 1 document, Federal Security Agency, Social Security Administration, date September 9th, 1952. Now in here, he got his school certificate with my name as a slave, but I don't agree with no slave name. That's them. That's his government name. His name his mama gave him. And so then he got his school certificate with his, he say change. I don't agree with no change again, because you're not changing nothing. If you understand law, you annexing if you understand navigation, your religious suffix. So one, you're not changing nothing. When you use those words, you play yourself, because it's a different form to change your name. And if you understand law, you know I'm telling you the truth. We're supposed to correct teachings, man. Declaring me a free man, recognizing my free national name and true race. Letter from Maryland Department of Transportation, dated August 22nd, 1973. Unfinished problem due to interference from officers in the Moorish movement. Due to the misunderstanding, I am not a bit disturbed, because the matter can always go to the Federal Bureau of the Department of Transportation to set a guideline for any department to go by. First lessons in American history. Lesson 14, Pocahontas, the Indian princess. Pocahontas became a Christian and was baptized with the name Rebecca. I mean, I can go all with the science. So we talk about nationalize or nationalization. When people not going to get real science, they're just going to be talking a whole bunch of garbage, and they ain't did nothing what the law say. Proclaim, declare, and have due process. Annex your B and your L to your name first. But the word nationalize or nationalization here in America, don't y'all know what this is all about? But a brief clarification on how these words were developed is this. These words was programmed in our minds in 1942 by an official, a major in the national headquarters, the Selective Service Systems. This headquarters was located on the 21st and South Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. at that time. We were sent to that office by the state headquarters of Selective Services of Maryland because his local board made a ruling that we Moorish people were Negroes, black, colored, and Ethiopian. The state director said to change that ruling, a proclamation had to be handed down from the national headquarters of Selective Services Systems of Washington, D.C. I don't want to get all deep in that, because that's for more teachings. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, but I can get super deep in that to remove all the lies. So boom, as we getting ready to finish, more of y'all should become students, I'm telling you, because when we get the temple up here, a lot of stuff is going to be done on YouTube. Everything is going to be on our webpage. And all these Moors that I showed y'all, the Moorish Science Temple is supposed to have a tax ID number. So if these Negroes say they some sheiks of a temple, I don't give a damn if it's in Atlanta, here, why your temple ain't open, there you doing lectures, why you doing everything at home. People don't have to be there. You can be going live from your temple. Why your temple door is closed and why you ain't there at your temple. And you can feed people just like all the schools and the churches feeding people. And you can pass out meals hand to hand when the people can come there for a certain amount of days to feed the people in the community, especially the so-called Moors that's giving you their money. But they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about a whole bunch of old, stupid stuff. I ain't got time for that. If they talk about they some sheets of the Moorish Science Temple of America, well, the Moorish Science Temple of America got a tax exempt number. Where the money? Because if you're a tax exempt organization, you're supposed to be for the community. Where the money? Oh, so you a preacher then? You see? You see how you can destroy these Negroes with that garbage? All they be doing is the Moorish Science Temple of America is a 501c3. Because it was a civic organization first, and then it was a religious organization second. So if our religion is Islamism, and we teach our spirituality and nationality, and we got a tax exempt status, where the money? And if we some sheiks of a temple, why we broadcasting? Why these sheiks say they the sheik of a temple? Why you broadcasting at your house? Because I'll be at my temple. I'll be at my temple broadcasting from the temple, live from the temple. I'll be feeding seniors every day in the community every day. If we can't gather here, you can come here and pick up your hot and your cold meal, your commodities, and keep it pushing. Huh? You get your commodities once a month for my seniors, huh? See? So let's deal with this science and we done. So we talk about the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. It did not free a single Negro, black, or colored slave from the legally binding slave laws of 1779. When you talk about the 3/5 clause, I hope you all know that. However, the same can be said of the 13th Amendment of 1865. You got to remember that was the first of the 3 Reconstruction Amendments, right? So I want to jump over this because I don't want to stay too long and stuff. So when we talk about us in the let us make a citizen, the us of this subtle reference to the corporate United States of America, assumed by many persons to be sovereign independent powers, and the constitutional concept and interpretation of a citizen did not derive its authoritative powers from the Declaration of Independence. I want y'all to know that, right? What most people fail to realize is during the drafting of this great document, the European men aged 21 were the only people recognized in America. Women and other nationalities and slaves were not considered as whole persons or people, at least not with rights that the pale-skinned man had to respect. It makes a number of us into, it takes a number of persons to make a people. As was written in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3. The word persons was summarized into 5th and 5/5 made one complete person. And this person, as endowed by the Creator and the laws of nature, was declared the whole number and a free person. This endowment with the totality of 5th made a complete and perfect person and subsequently a citizen. When the USA was first formed under the Constitution, its sovereignty was for and by the people, which were mankind. The word person was used by the people to describe their property, business, and fictional beings. Persons gave life to corporate America's oath, affidavits, notaries, and self-incriminating pro se used by straw men. Masonic members of the Moorish Zion Temple, they are more by that I'm a citizen, like you just said, Brother James, of the USA. But they don't understand the science of it, and they get you all caught up. I'm telling you. Don't y'all know the law and our prophet himself, just like I'm trying to do, there's a much difference between sovereigns and citizens. That's why in the amendments, freeborns and bond servants, Moorish Americans and Negro church members, or unalienable rights and inalienable privileges. If the assumable citizens of the USA only knew the true legal definition of citizen, they would be ticked, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? When you talk about the true 5/5 components of a natural person, which is your spirit, the indestructible God essence in man, your soul, the actions of man's power, which is your thinking, your reasoning, your will, your understanding, your body, flesh, human vehicle made of the earth, often indigenous to the land of birth. Nationality, the descendant birth, attachments through an especial nation or tribe, free national name, lineage ID. Creed, religious path, God conscious, established through forefathers, vine and fig tree. So when we talk about the above, number 4 and 5, nationality and divine creed were the 2 main fifths extracted from the African nationals. When we talk about George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, many of the other European free Masonic slave owners who signed the Constitution of the United States, and they also wrote in their chattel as 3/5 of a person Moors. And the Constitution thus became the first legal national deed of ownership of African slaves in the new nation. And this act alone legalized racism and apartheid in the interior fabric of the American culture. And further, it politically certified all Negro, blacks, and colored at 3/5 of all persons and the level of a beast. But how can you be a level of the beast if we made in the image of God? So if all man is made in the image of God, what these Europeans telling you? That you ain't a man, you a damn animal. Are you following me? No disrespect to nobody. Any man without national roots from which to draw strength and the great God for his guidance is no longer a complete man. And for those who keep up with the total commercialization of corporate USA as portrayed by, when y'all see analogies and symbology in the story of Wizard of Oz, you will easily see that the Negro, black, and color, and even the misnomer Latino, Mexican, and Hispanic, as purely a fictional character, a fake citizen, painted into the scheme of an ex post facto government. And our prophet Noble Drew Ali appeared and gave the lost found the shoes necessary to rejoin the human family of nations. Number 4 was our nationality. Number 5 was our divine order. It's possible for us to leave the land of make-believe without our shoes handed down by who? Our ancient forefathers. Now all we have to do is simply apply, and we will climb the 3 steps of the thinking ladder with its rounds of belief, faith, fruition, which is in our Moorish Quran, chapter 7, verse 25 to 21. So to attempt to remove in whole or part of the fifths from any man is a conscious act known simultaneously as both a sin and a crime. When I tell y'all, these Negroes don't have the power to nationalize you or denationalize you. Them Negroes can't do that. That's a fraud and a sin. And that's why the United States judicial system marks this a violation as a federal crime and is known throughout the U.S. courts as denationalization. The irony in this crime is that it is committed manually by every state since the 14th Amendment became law, and then written when it was state sealed upon the live birth of every freeborn Moorish baby in America. But denationalization is played off on their birth certificate as another Negro black baby is born. When we talk about the Negro and the sardine, we synchronize that wisdom. Even when I tell y'all, when I say beware of lying lawyers, we talk about the British Annotated Registry. When I say it's a difference of who your legal service and attorneys and lawyers and all that. And when I say if you part of the Moorish Science Temple, well, where's that legal service? Where that person that can defend you in a court of law? None. And all these Negroes, we talk about they study some black laws dictionary. I say that ain't nothing but a dictionary. That's a dictionary. A dictionary proves you. I don't give a damn because you read no dictionary. A dictionary don't mean you can defend yourself in the court of law. I'm on my YouTube page, Noble. Please come on my YouTube page. Just because you read a medical book, that means you valid to practice brain surgery? Absolutely not. That's why most of these Moors won't defend themselves. Noble, I have to. You have to send your email to my email address. I'll get you all that. Inbox me, and then I'll send you the syllabus and the enrollment. But remember, man, we can't ship nothing out because right now, everything in Arizona, I can't ship any books out. I got all books here. I got all the materials for the feds. So Moors, just be patient because the world stopped. That's what I'm telling people, but it's $250 the first. I'll give you all that, man. I want to finish demonstrating. Inbox me. My email is Goodman, Goodman, Khary, Khary, @gmail.com. Because I got a couple more new members that want to donate. And we use Cash App. Cash App, $KG Bay. But beware of lying lawyers. Any lawyer worth his salt of the bar exam, they will lie to you and swear on the Bible and declare blacks are citizens of the USA because, watch this, y'all. And you can ask anybody that's going to teach you the truth. The term other persons of the U.S. Constitution refers to slaves. I promise you this. But the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, and or the Dred Scott decision was replaced by what? The 14th Amendment, and or what? Other amendments, specifically eliminating the 3/5 formula. Watch this. That's how these Negroes putting you back in slavery when our prophet said these Negroes putting y'all back in slavery. Because the laws, we must defend the Constitution, and they not. What these first servants of the courts will not tell their clients is that no constitutional laws has ever been handed down by Congress to teach back the latter 2/5 necessary to make the free slaves into a whole person. All persons must be made conscious whole before he can become a citizen. Are y'all listening? Have the rights of a citizen and be subject to the jurisdictions of a citizen. Everyone, Moors, I do mean everyone, anywhere on the planet, shall have all 5/5 and are whole except who you think. Negroes, the so-called black man, the so-called Mexican, the so-called Latino, and the citizens of India. That's why the 13th Amendment abolished physical slavery, but left psychological mental slavery in full effect, Moors. And this violates the 2nd 5th, the right of mind, the soul of the 5 gifts from the Creator. And when we talk about our right mind, Moors, it reminds us of how a lot of Christianized Negro blacks and color would pray to a God and thank him for allowing them to wake up in the morning. No disrespect to nobody. That's why when you understand with the ratification of the 13th Amendment, the enslavement of human bodies is now legally enforced upon criminals duly convicted as a punishment for a crime. So the 13th Amendment merely it closed the door of slavery in the South, which was without power at that time, and then they opened it, the jail gates of the U.S. government, to protect itself against the rudderless ex-slaves. This is why most modern prisoners call jails plantations. Remember President Lincoln? When I show y'all, it's so many letters in here. When Moors just be lying, and I'll be like, man, they lying, because I got a lot of the letters in here. Remember President Lincoln also said, my people do not want them. When you say them, he'll talk about the slaves to become citizens. They ain't want the slave to become citizens. If I could unite my country without freeing the slave, I would do so. He was actually expressing a European national sentiment. No true red-blooded American wanted to free slaves. Although the ratification of the original 13th Amendment with its full body of 20 sections did not reach fruition, it is still the utmost importance for the historical adjudication before 1864 U.S. Congress to be known to African descendants, especially because one, the enactment of these laws was all about the emancipation and freedom of their recent grand forefathers. And number two, when the full Senate vote on passing the 13th Amendment was yes 38 and nay 7, the U.S. slave population was 98% illiterate, and not one of them was present to represent themselves as a people. Now, years later, children of today can read. They can now know what their grandparents could not have known. And all this information, the following information, can be found in the U.S. Library of Congress, or Research Science, or the 1885 book called The Great Conspiracy by John Logan. It's a book, I'm telling y'all, 1885, it's a book called The Great Conspiracy by John Logan. I ain't even gonna break down all the amendments of the 13th Amendment with the full body of the 20 sections. I want you to read them. I want you to read the 13th Amendment with the full body of 20 sections. I want you to read that for yourself. And then you can be like, read it all. Don't listen to these goofballs getting y'all caught up. Man, part of my job is read contracts. I get paid to read contracts. I'm telling you, I love to read. I research every word and show you that these fools is lying. Now, let's talk about the 14th Amendment. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, just like myself, warned Moors about the needless powers of the 14th and the 15th Amendment. As we explained, we also teach that there was no need for the application of the 14th and the 15th Amendment for salvation for us. When I tell y'all that the 1865 and 70 amendments, and they made the determination that the 14th and the 15th Amendment is the sneakiest document of re-enslavement to have been written, right? The 14th Amendment alone is crippling and devastating until it later transformed every U.S. citizen from ignorant sugar cubes to corporate sheets, known as what? Straw men. I'm telling y'all, the power of the South have been enslaved until losing the Civil War. What y'all think the Civil War was all about? Because if you had a tittle of black blood in your skin, you was a Negro. The 1863 military strategy of the Emancipation Proclamation and the 1870 Negro Voters' Right Amendment proved that the Southern states were powerless without slaves. Our Prophet told us, and we demonstrate that the 14th and the 15th Amendment brought the North and the South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power. And since the Civil War was primarily fought between brother in blue and the other in gray, and the 14th Amendment was actually a legal settlement or an agreed order, which took slavery from the Gray Dispensation and spread it over every state throughout the United States, or the so-called Blue Republic. And this was the only way both brothers could settle the long-standing grievance about the powers of only sustaining slaves in America. And it must be remembered, Moors, that the founding fathers and their prosperity were and are. They was all seriously about their slaves. That's how they fought their mother country. When Britain and Americans fought just to keep slaves. When I tell y'all about the honorable president of the mighty Saxon nation, Chief Sitting Bull, 1834 to 1893, was not only Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong, Custer's worst daymare. Read about that science. And rarely do many people of the United States realize the Congressional 13th Amendment was also a manumission. When I be telling more, y'all need to research these words I'll be saying, manumission treaty with the African descendants of former slaves. And this document not only freed the slave, but also simultaneously created a second new nation of people. And the Treaty of Freedom was broken within 3 years of its ratification by the covert and the needless 14th Amendment. Also living in the same sunlight of the European words, the so-called Negro, color, and black people being black lads from the 1868 14th Amendment. Still believe this congressional act made them citizens of the United States. And it's heartbreaking when most people discover that it is a divine, natural, and lawful impossibility to make a denationalized person property until a citizen of free national government. A people are only free when they are true to themselves, pure, clean, and independent. It is of supreme importance for all y'all Moors that's listening to identify the esoteric and the esoteric master words of persons and alien, particularly Moors, as they are used in the Reconstruction Amendment and in the parent body in the U.S. Constitution. And these words are soaked in Masonic maya of European male superiority and its profane world of Africans, women, handicapped with children, elderly. I'm telling y'all. I promise y'all, Moors. The 14th Amendment clearly states, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. The initialized words are very consequential to understanding the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. It goes on to read, in addition to no legal abridgment of these privileges or immunities of the citizens, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, property, or equal protection of the laws. This opening clause is in fact an ex post facto reenactment of the Negro and Congressional deed of ownership of all ex-slaves or persons. And these laws were already written and guaranteed to the U.S. citizens as rights earlier in the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. So you got to understand, why is it necessary for these rights to appear as privileges again? It is designed by the people for the people. That was endowed by the Creator. Y'all got to know this. But without the free national descendant name of their forefathers and their own true nationality, then by divine and natural law, they are still slaves and subject to the jurisdiction of. See, somebody had to claim the new ex-slaves. I'm telling y'all. You got to understand that the United States was never without the slaves. That's why the word person, as used in the 14th Amendment, is a work of deception and has fooled millions of the best legal minds in modern American history. And those few that do know well to tell because they were sworn to secrecy prior to receiving the science. Remember, all three of the Reconstruction Amendments ratified by Congress between 1865 and 1870 were written exclusively about the slaves and ex-slaves. Research this. The most held to protect the civil rights of the Negro, blacks, and colors, but was broadened by the Supreme Court to include corporations, other properties, and businesses under its Equal Protection Clause. And the word is today as much as a 3/5 formula in the basic U.S. Constitution, which calls too bright of a light in the ladder of the law Moors, the equivalent to the same individual and corporate property as always. So to sum it up, Moors, the 14th terminology persons constitute as a 3/5 is the same property referred to as persons in its 1868 14th Amendment, 89 or years later. Again, proving the corporate United States of America, with exception of 3 years, 1865 to 1868, has never been without its slaves. Are y'all following what I'm saying, Moors? That's why I said Negroes, African Americans will never have true rights. The misnomers of Negro, blacks, and colored, Mexican, Latinos, being the names of denationalized human property, were never designed to have rights. As labeled property, the Negro, black, and colored, misnomer, Latino, Mexican, Hispanic, can never have true rights because all rights are contingent upon universal, natural, or civil laws, zodiac laws. Before there can be rights, there must be laws from which rights derive their strength. Did y'all hear what I just said? Before there can be rights, there must be laws from which rights derive their strength. And since the Negro does not have a constitution or laws of autonomy from which to govern itself, he or she cannot have lawful rights. And this is why the great Dred Scott decision of 1857 stated that what? The Negro has no rights that the true citizens are bound to respect. That's why when the Dred Scott, when the 1970 Sundry Moore Act, those citizens of Morocco that was copper colored was like, we ain't no goddamn Negroes like these fools over here in the States. The divine and civil law was ratified in the 14th Amendment under the word person and sealed in its section 4, which states in essence that Negroes, persons, whether free or slaves, have no rights to compensation or reparations. So how the hell y'all Negroes talk about some reparations and you a Negro, and you talk about you a black man, you African American, and Negro blacks, you considered a slave until we what? Restore ourselves. You ain't gonna get no reparation. Restore ourselves what? Back to our original state. Because you're talking that black stuff, that Negro stuff, you would never get no damn reparations or no compensation for no damn reparations. I just gave you law. So you should be shutting all that stuff down. All them entertainers that was on TV with T.I., Killer Mike, when it was like, well, what should we call ourselves? Negro blacks? You know damn well you ain't no Negro, no black. You call yourself a scholar. Because Negro black, according to science and law, means deaf. You should know about the Dred Scott case. You should know when Abraham Lincoln defended them more in court and said he wasn't Negro black. You should know that. So God damn it, you should know what our nationality is. Because before the Civil War, we were Moors. Now, why should we be so stupid? And we let these entertainers keep buck dancing with us. And I just gave you law. And these Negroes call themselves scholars. You should be ticked to the highest ticktivity as I am. If somebody gonna say they're a scholar, I just broke law down. What do we call ourselves? Negroes, black, African American? Negro? No, we Moors. Because a Negro, black, and color pertaining to the laws, you'll never have no rights or no damn reparations. I'm in favor of reparations, just as any man. Restitution is only reserved for what? Constituted governments for atrocities imposed against other recognized nations, tribe, and their family bearing what? The same free national name. Research it in law. Let me read this to you again. I'm all for reparations, Moors. But you got to understand, restitution is only reserved from constituted governments for atrocities imposed against other recognized nations, tribes, and their family bearing the same free national name. Bayer L. By design, a Negro, black, and color is neither. Please go on my YouTube page. By design, a Negro, black, and color is neither. And to avoid paying reparations, to slaves and descendants of ex-slaves is the main reason for the Congress of the United States writing Section 4 into the de facto 14th Amendment. Recycle being of the Negro, black, and colored slave person identifications. So why would y'all follow all these entertainers when y'all falling off? Oh, they was talking, oh, they sounded good. I said, man, these Negroes ain't no scholars. Because if they say they scholars in law, I just gave you law. So it ain't no question what should we call ourselves. I just gave you law. Let me go back to you. This divine and civil law was ratified in the 14th Amendment under the word person and sealed in its section 4, which state in essence that Negroes, persons, whether free or slave, have no rights to compensation or reparations. I'm for reparations, but still, restitution is only reserved from constituted governments for atrocities imposed against other recognized nations, tribes, and their family bearing the same free national name. Y'all ain't listening. By design, the Negro, black, and color, none of that. So you talk about some reparations, you ain't restored yourself back to your original state. And y'all listening to these goofballs? To avoid paying reparations to slave descendants of ex-slaves is the main reason for the Congress of the United States when they write the Section 4 in the de facto 14th Amendment. The amendment is Congress in the 13th Amendment. The amendment is nothing short of a title of ownership and assumable jurisdiction of the freed nation of people brought forth by Congress in the 13th Amendment. First, the Negro, black, and color must be free as a people, bearing what? One free national name. And then we take it to the world courts. Then only then will we be able to claim rights which will draw its powers from their own constituted laws and principles, which the Constitution. until these laws are adhered. When I talk about defending the Constitution, we don't do nothing illegal. The Negro, black, and color will remain as chattel and without rights. We can only function under granted privileges and demonstrate shamelessly with the 15th Voting Privileges Amendment. Read the 15th Amendment, those voting privileges. This has been existing condition since the 3/5 clause of 1779. Today's granted lawyers of the American Bar Association exams would argue that the 3/5 clause and the Dred Scott decision were overruled by the 14th Amendment. Can I get some water, Empress? But watch me check them. They will lose this case when explaining how the same slave labels of Negro, blacks, and colored that lawfully began in 1779 are still certified as state-owned property today, years later. All you got to do is see your certificate of live birth. There is not a rightful law on earth that can make a citizen from a mold designed to produce the shapes of property. And African Americans being another misnomer, Latinos, Mexicans, all that being a misnomer, is an egg slot of a slave labels are exclusively made here in America. And this is why privileges, granted property, should never be misconstrued as being the same as true rights earned by citizens of a free national government. We talk about the 15th Amendment, the last of the Reconstruction Amendments, resorted from the Great Right of Suffrage of 1870. The amendment gave guaranteed voting powers to the free male Negro slave, but it was not America so loved her only slave it gave them full rights to vote. You know why that happened. So how to free all Negro, blacks, and color? Behind the scene of the U.S. Reconstruction Amendments. See, I'm on good time, Empress. I'm on good time.
Good time.
Now that you have been properly introduced to the 13th, the 14th, and 15th Amendment, the ways have been paved to go behind the scenes of the laws which compile in the infamous shallow grave of Haram Abif. When I talk to y'all about masonry, and I'm telling y'all, this is our science. I'm a committed to adapt. I don't have no fake degrees. A lot of Negro, blacks, and coloreds, convicted felons, are going to be pissed after reading this and tearing down their local law libraries. Some people are going to be surprised to see plain that kept ex-slaves holding steadfast to slave names years later. First, you got to understand, you can no more make a bond citizen of a Negro, black, and color than make a Muslim eat pork or swine during a pilgrimage in the holy city of Mecca. So the first thing you got to understand, Moors, is balance this lawful history with the United States officially losing its sovereignty in 1871, returning to the original corporate status as when it was just British colonies. And your summation will be simply this. During this time, all crimes committed since 1871 are commercial crimes and cannot be part of any legal proceedings. I'm giving y'all history. Don't get caught up out of context. True constitutional governments do not have nor honor corporate courts because corporations are merely property themselves, Moors. Corporate courts cannot preside over natural persons jurisdictionally. A black political hostage is a state of what? Encompassment. It is the state of unnatural existence that envelopes so-called black people, Hispanics, which is seen by the masses, yet is largely unnoticed due to its obscure definition. In essence, Moors, this state of substance is the colorable legalization or the colorable legalized enslavement of a nation of people held here in the United States. So to reveal the phenomenon, Moors, it's necessary to dissect the words black, political, and the word hostage. Remember, in science and in law, black means dead. We ain't talking about no other context. Yeah, black is beautiful, orange is beautiful, purple is beautiful, but it ain't your nationality. So don't let nobody get you caught up in that garbage. Black is only a word, not a color, which according to science means death, void of light, absence of life, negative. When we talk about the machination of a Maya people. Political, the practice, influence of a government. Anything pertaining to or relating to the policy or administration of government, state, or national. The exercise of the function vested in those charged with the conduct of government to control its public policy. The exercising of governmental powers. See, once we defend the Constitution, we ain't doing nothing wrong. That's why I be telling y'all, these Negroes criminals. Because when I break the Constitution down, they put their tail in their ass. Hostage, any person, family, tribe, national, or people, one free, now captured, usually kidnapped from alien origin, held against his or her will, with their freedom and or life or service to stand as ransom or security. Hostage taken in the USA, ironically, is a federal crime. What crime? I'll give you the case. Title 18 U.S.C.A-1203. And nearly always invoke various kidnapping statutes. Technically, Moors, these are polite legal terms to soften the impact of unlawful taking of human beings realized as an act of kidnapping. I hope y'all understand the science of what I'm trying to talk about freedoms. But the origin of the black political hostage began with the transfer of slave ownership from the powerless Southerners to the constitutional fold of government for the restoring the United States. And most people, especially the Negro, Black, and Color, and the misnomer Latino Mexican, assume that either the Emancipation Proclamation or the 13th and the 14th Amendment freed slaves and made them citizens. In fact, these documents enacted during the 5-year period from 1865 to 70 did not free them unconditionally, but merely transferred them as property from one owner to another, from southern rebellious Confederate states to throughout every state within the Union States or the United States. Meanwhile, it is true that the 13th Amendment did in fact abolish the institution of slavery, Moors, in the USA. However, Moors, it is also equally true that no one told the newly freed people that they were a nation. This law only brought temporary harmony and satisfaction between the Scottish and the Yorkites in both the North and the South when I talk about Freemasonry. And during these 5 years of power consolidation, the productive business of slavery became the most paramount of all political issues. I'm telling you, man, I can go all on with the science, but I'm done. I'm done. I done gave y'all the science. Any questions? I hope people put it on their heart to become members and students. Because once the world start back, man, we rocking and rolling. Once we get this physical temple back out here, we rocking and rolling. I done told y'all, I'm gonna give y'all law and be transparent. This science that I'm giving you, you can teach your kids. I mean, I got history books. I got a whole library. This more science is no illegal stuff. This more science ain't no European masonry that is just for a whole bunch of Negroes talking a whole bunch of garbage. This science for us to build, and the laws protect us. And if you understand that, we can do this the right way. And if we ain't willing to do that, I'm not for you. Continue to follow these people, and I'll see how you're doing next year. Any questions? I got 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes to answer some questions. Let me take a quick minute to answer some questions. Hey, restriction. Any quick questions? We got 10 minutes, Moors. I'm done. I done talked myself out. Oh, one of my nobles asked me this. Oh, this my Asiatic angel of death. You remember the necklace Pac was having? Euthanasia? And people don't understand the science? Well, this means something to me. This is symbology. This means something to me. When we talk about the death of the lower self, we assist the death of our lower self. But yeah, one of my nobles asked me, he was like, man, is that like one of the symbols Tupac had on? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, where you get that from? Man, I got a lot of trinkets, man, that I've gotten over the years and things. Any question, Moors? Any questions? We got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes, Moors. I hope everybody put it on their heart to become members and students. Because we taking off, man, and numbers don't lie. I told y'all, numbers don't lie, and the number is so simple. And we can show all these temples like what it's about. We'll be going live from the temple. Moors in Arizona be out here. We start getting brothers and sisters to move out here. Moors will start investing in our land. We'll get our Moors ranch in the mountains where we can go to. We'll have our nice large temple in the city. Man, we'll be popping. And Moors, we really can have a place to come to. And we can really be having our schooling, because Moors are not educated on the laws. We don't understand the dynamics of our tax-exempt status we have, what we can do with our own funds. And as we get the building and growing big, we can then apply for grants from the state that we're paying for. It's just going back, and all other organizations take advantage of it, like churches and all the nonprofit organizations in your community. When I be saying the real Moorish Science Temple of America have the tax exempt number. So you got to ask these brothers that say they sheiks of the Moorish Science Temple and they grand governors of the Moorish Science Temple. And I say, okay, well, the Moorish Science Temple of America has a tax deed number. Why your temple ain't open, and what you doing with the finances that you collecting for dues? Well, are you able to feed the members in the community, especially the babies that's part of your temple, or is it just for profit? Are we just ridding the building? We ain't gonna never have our own Moorish Science Temple of America. What's a person's purpose? Because if your purpose is not ownership and owning things in your community, especially if your temple is in your neighborhood, and then you don't own nothing around your temple, you don't own no houses, well, you don't understand about the status and I teach this strategy. I done taught this strategy to churches. I know churches that done bought all the houses in their area, and then they had the contractors in their church fix them, and they moved the seniors and the single moms back in their neighborhood, so they don't have to be giving their rent to no slumlords. Ain't no damn well ain't came from no Joseph. If Moors had unto thee I grant, that's why I keep broke it down. Our Moors Quran is a part of unto thee I grant. That's why Moors need to be stews. ISIS. Can you hand me that book right there, that blue book right there, please, cousin? It's right in that box, unto thee I grant. It's sticking out the back one, the light blue one. Thank you. This right here. That's why I be saying Moors are not adepts. Our Quran is constructed of this. What was I just talking about? I was just talking about it. It ain't no guess. That's why I be saying if these Moors adepts, then you should understand exactly what I'm saying. It ain't no, we don't have to guess nothing. We don't have to be, I think. If Moors say they adapts and they teaching some Moorish science and they say they qualify and Moors say they some adepts, we don't have to think or nothing. We can stand strong on it. And if we don't stand on strong on it, we shouldn't even say it. We shouldn't even say I think, or is it safe to say? Not if you know adept and you got that fez on your head. You should know matter factual. You should be standing on your square of truth and science, not just assuming. And that's what I be saying when it comes about our ancient books. I be like, do Moors know what I'm talking about? Especially our Moorish Akashic records. When I got our Moorish Akashic records over there, I don't think Moors we know what I be talking about. And then I got the Akashic records where Moors be like, is it safe to say? Is it safe to say it? You tell me. You should have the science and be able to prove where it come from. So, no disrespect to you though, Noble. Any questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? We got 7 more minutes. Excuse me. We got 7 more minutes. Any more questions? Told y'all this simple, and I ain't even get all the deep in the teachings. That's why I told y'all, Moors, I'm on vacation, teaching, working out every day. Moors, I can come give y'all a lecture every day. I don't ask nobody for donations. I don't be on here and be like, oh, I need $10 from everyone. If nobody get, all I ask Moors is to give a $10 donation, a $5 donation if they want, and I'll send you a PDF, pieces of my literature. I can send you my literature. It's mine. I got 20 books PDF. I don't ask nobody to give nothing. I come over here and do live, and I say, if you place it on your heart to give a donation, so be it. At the end of the year, you can get a tax-exempt receipt. So when I be teaching science, when the person say, is it safe to say? And it ain't no disrespect to you, Noble. I say, is it safe to say? Is it safe to say? That's what I'll be saying. Like, would you stand on that? Would you get up in front of people and teach that science? And then if you prove it wrong, what would you base your science on? Are you sincere? Because you can be sincerely wrong, or are we just guessing when they say we didn't do the science? So that's the question I be asking people. When I ask a person, is it safe to say? I be like, I don't know. I be like, I don't know. I be like, I don't know. I'd be like, what you basing your stuff on? What somebody told you? So you regurgitating a whole bunch of stuff somebody said, and I said, let's take this to court and let's see when you defend it. And when you find all that stuff you think you believe, and your belief is based on a lie, and it's all smoke and mirrors. Negroes are still to defend the lie. That's why I be laughing. I'm like, you still gonna defend this stuff? I got to shake your hand and walk away. I got to shake your hand and walk away. Flat out. Because Moorish science and being no adept ain't talking about no whole bunch of old shit. Being a more adept is these teachings, this science, especially showing us how to build an infrastructure. What more that call himself a sheik? And it ain't no disrespect to nobody. Show me any more that's calling himself some sheik that's trying to build something, to have anything. I don't see none. I don't see none more using their own finances doing nothing. All I see is Moors collecting money, and then they saying they sheiks of the temple, and they doing all they teaching from home. They doing all they teaching from home in their living room, and then they got the nerve to say they grand sheiks of the temple, and then they governors of this body. And I say, well, how you a grand sheik of the temple and you ain't going live from your temple? I don't give a damn if we ain't having service because of what's going on right now and teachings, but you can go to your temple. You telling me you can't go to your temple and be in front and go live and tell all your members to come live and display your teaching live? That's why I say it's a secret. These Negroes will never go live to their teachings, but then they'll go live from home, or they'll go live in the streets. Why don't you go show live your teachings? If these teachings are for the people, what's so hidden? The churches, they be going live. I go live. That's why I said, wait till we get the temple. We're going to have civics. We're going to have Sunday school. We're going to have history. We're going to have law days. We're going to be doing real stuff. We're going to own stuff under our taxes of status. We're going to be teaching the right way. We're going to be teaching our babies. Our empresses are going to be growing. We're going to be learning. This ain't about nothing. This ain't about nothing. Any questions? We got 3 minutes, man. Any questions? All the books that I give Moors, when Moors be talking about they studying Moorish science, and I asked the sheik, he don't even have the Moorish Quran. And then he was like, well, see, no, but you an adept. And I said, so you don't have the Quranic study guide to go with the Quran? No. You don't have the catechism to understanding the Quran? No. You don't have the SO workbook? No. You don't have the discovery key questions? No. What you doing? You got to tell me what you doing. Having church and don't understand the dynamics and the synchronicity because you ain't studied the Quran, and you damn sure don't know law. And I know these Negroes don't know law. That's why most of these Negroes getting caught up in fraudulent concealment, because they don't know law. They ain't gonna use the stuff that they telling you, but they'll throw it at you because it sound good and use you as a crash dummy. Almost done. 3 minutes, Moors. Moors become students. If Moors, I mean, like I said, I'm not here to beg nobody for the donations. If Moors want to send a donation, send a $5 donation in, send a $10 donation in, Cash App $KGBay, and then inbox me my email, goodmancurry@gmail.com, and be like, hey, Noble, I donated $5 or $10. Can you email me some science? One of your books? I'll be like, absolutely, Noble. Thank you for the $5 donation. And I'll PDF you my book, Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. It'll blow your mind. You send $10, I'll send you my Sufism and the Triple Roll of the Adapt Chamber. Man, I got so many books, science, and you be like, wow, like, why are they hiding this? I be like, ain't nothing to hide, because ain't nothing secret with me. It's sacred. That means I'm serious, and I'm going to teach it to those that want to be taught. Everybody else going to fall off. I know who's going to fall off. I know who fall off because they be thinking it's some pot of gold, and they operating as criminals still, and they don't understand everything we do is lawfully. We defend the Constitution. The religious laws protect us. The tax codes protect us. Man, we can build our community, and we don't got to worry about no other Moors. We don't got to worry about no other Moors. All we got to do is worry about us. We don't have to focus on what no church is doing, because if you understand the scriptures, ain't nobody told you that no Jesus was white, which is Yahshua. Our teachers don't teach us that. Y'all better stop letting these Moors just get y'all caught up with confusion and religious arbitrary dogma, because if you a scientist, this is something they have no idea of. Isis, can you hand me my books right there, please, Cutler? This is my last thing. Because somebody that said the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam, let me get that case. All that, my cousin.
I'm really trying to think of a question, but I don't think I have one.
Okay, since nobody don't have no questions, which most people don't. So let me show y'all something before I close, Noble. So one of my books is our vegan cookbook. That's one. Me and my empress gathered and divinely prepared. The other one, Interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. Interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. No way to be confused. Man, do y'all know how old these books are? I wrote these books, maybe 5 years ago. 5 years ago. I'm telling you, I got 20 books we getting ready to finish. We self-authored and published. I don't have to put my books on Amazon and charge people $60 for my book. I publish them. You can get your books from me for a donation. IG logging off, so log back on. Hold on. What you say? You 100% right. All for profit, ain't giving nothing back. I'm telling y'all. And then when I go to the schools, let me tell y'all, when I go to the schools, I give my books away because the schools they are having a budget. If they can't pay me the donation, they write a lot of as in-kind service, and they pay me for my time. And I give a lot of kids the books, especially my business books about nonprofit startup. But anyway, Moorish American Light of Ali, the Moorish Adapt Study Guide, the House of Ali, Mysticism, the Egyptian Adapt, Prophet and Angel. I don't hide the sign from nobody. It's sacred to me, but ain't nothing secret. You see what I'm saying? No reason to be confused. The science right here. One more came to me. He was like, Noble, I donated $100. I want all your books. And he was like, no. He was like, it's worth it. He was like, I got all these books in here and I ain't learned nothing. And so when he donated $100, he was like, Noble, I don't learn so much from your books. He was like, and he donated $100 and he ain't even, you know what I mean, financially ready. This was years ago. He one of my biggest donors to this day. I ain't even brought him up yet. One of my biggest donors. And then the Sufism and the triple role of the Adapt Chamber, featuring the Kemet and Adapt Manual and the use of our carpenter tools. Here it go right here. When I talk about the Ka and the Ba of Allah, when I break that science down so deep. You know? Man, you can't ask me that, man. You can't ask me why it ain't no temple in every state. Can't ask me that. I don't know, ask them. Ask those Moors that's in no temple. Ask every Moor that ask, this is what you need to do. Ask every Negro in every state that call himself a Grand Sheik why they no temple. And then you can come back and give me the answer. Because you can't ask me that. Ask them. Ask them Negroes that call themselves Grand Sheiks of the Moorish Science Temple. Ask them. So when I asked a sheik, do they know the 42 paths of the Moorish wisdom? He was like, see, Noble, you and Adapt. I said, you are too. You're supposed to be. This science. I wrote the science. It's here. There's no reason to be confused. I break it down eloquently so you can understand the science, so you can understand the teachings. There's no reason for nobody to be confused on no science. I mean, the science is right here. The science is right here. When Moors, we talk about some hermetic principles. I said hermetic is connotated. It's Kemetic. That's why I said these 99 degrees. Mizraim is Memphis. Mizraim is Egypt in the scriptures. The science is here. I'm telling you. The science is right here. The science is right here. This is about perfecting yourself. Any questions while I'm demonstrating? Because I'm about to log off. The 7 Kemetic principles. The 7 Kemetic principles. The principles of truth are 7. He who knows these understandably possess the master key before whose touch of the doors of the temple fly open. The 7 Kemetic principles upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based are as follows. The principle of mentalism, principle of correspondence, principle of vibration, principle of polarity, principle of rhythm, principle of cause and effect, principle of gender. Summary of the 7 Kemetic principles when I break it all down. So why? It's no reason to be confused. I wrote the science. It's no reason for a person wouldn't want to be a part of education unless we just want to be lied to. And some of us do like to be lied to. Black scholars who debunked the Eurocentric propaganda when all our scholars that wrote this science. 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history. What our babies write on. These old books. So, like I said, that's it. Any questions? We done. I'm done. Done, bop, boom, done. Clean glass against a dirty glass. I'm telling y'all, I'm expecting next year for us to have our physical temple out here. I'm expecting us next year to have 100 members to where we all giving $100 a month, which is change, especially to all of us. Talk about we working and we boss. If 100 or more is giving $100 a month, that's $10,000. That's $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 at the end of the year, tax exempt dollars. We can have a building out here in Arizona. And then just imagine every year we do our convention, when we get our little change of taxes back, we all donate $1,000 once a year. All of us, once a year. that keep operation costs. I mean, we can do anything we want. We can be building. I can take this infrastructure from state to state. And so as you was asking me more, why it ain't more science temples in every state that them goofballs call them sheiks, we ain't gonna worry about it. Because it's gonna be Burning Bush Tabernacles, more science temple and schools in every one of y'all state. Subordinate temples, and it's this big temple out here. Why? Because if it's 20 Moors or 25 Moors or 15 Moors in one state, I'm gonna show y'all how we get a small building in y'all area, a unit. We pay for it cash of our donations and everything, and get it under our tax exempt status, and that's where all y'all are gonna meet in the city, and we're gonna go satellite, and y'all gonna be at the temple so we can get the teachings. We're gonna put divine ministers there. It's gonna be structured. That's how. And so that's how we have our subordinate temples in each city or state where 10 or 20 more stay in. If we got, now say if we only got, I'm just throwing a number out there, we got members in only in, say hypothetically 15 states. And say hypothetically we got, say 15 or 20 members in each 15 states. And I'm just throwing a number out there. Where we gonna have temples in each 15 states, subordinate temples. We ain't worried about the rest of them until we get another amount of members to understand what we doing, and we have a subordinate temple in your area. Then I'm gonna be traveling all over, and we gonna be building and having the houses in our community at the charter community, legally and lawfully. Just like the Jews, just like the Chinese, just like anybody else. Our religious community, legally and lawfully. Point blank. Any questions? With our subordinate temple out here, with our base out here, Arizona, when we have our conventions. And then I'll show y'all how we're going to have subordinate temples in every neighborhood, in your hood. It's waiting for us. Any more questions, man? I'm done. So that's my answer to the question. You was asking me more, why there ain't no more science temples in every state. I can't answer that. All I can talk about is me and what we doing. And I can tell you my answer to that question, what I'll be doing and what we can be doing. That's my answer. And that's a simple answer. Because the blueprint worked. The business model works. It's been proven. So that's my answer to that. Any more questions, man? We've been for 2 hours. That's it. Are we done? No questions? Well, with that being said, like I said, Morris, every morning, y'all see what I'm doing. I'm showing y'all how to do home workouts. I do a lot of home workouts. I'm gonna show y'all how to do this workout in your house with the cardboards you put on your feet, and you do all your ab work exercise. I'm gonna show you how to do pull-ups. I'm gonna show you how to do everything in your house. So when the world starts again, there should be no excuses of you and your empress coming together working out in your family. It should be no excuses you going back to eating like a damn garbage can and a dump truck. No reason. No reason you shouldn't be a part of nothing. We should stop following all these entertainers that ain't doing nothing, that's collecting funds. I call them for-profit preachers with feds on, because that's all they are. I mean, you can't get mad at me. They all for-profit preachers with feds on. And anytime somebody talk about somebody else, they doing wrong. I have a whole library on man. I got 15,000 books. More, I have a whole book on man. Look, man, I'm glad you said that. Noble. Look, this is what I tell Morris. This is how I know a lot of times when Morris get the science, and I know they're gonna be studying, because a lot of our meditation and what we're supposed to do is in here. I'm gonna close with this. I'm gonna close with this because you sparked something about our adapt science. I'm not gonna deal with it, but I'm just gonna show you something where people should know this if they say they adapts. When I talk about our prayer and the Moorish Muslims, our prayer is meditation. This is what Moors don't understand. Prayer is meditation. So I'm gonna show y'all something. The ritual of facing eastward directly during prayer did not begin with Muslims of modern day Islam. This is a human practice that dates back originally to the fall of Isis and Isha, Adam and Eve. But I don't want to get all deep in that. But this in y'all Moorish Quran chapter 10 and 6. But I just want to touch a base because I'm done. When I say it's a lot that Moors don't know. When the Moors are called to prayer, our prophet teaches now men and birds and beasts and creepy things, the deities made flesh. I don't want to jump in all in that. But Noble Drew Ali taught Moors the ancient adapt straight way of prayer. And that's the first thing that I be asking the Moor. They say they adapt. I say, so then you should understand the ancient adapt straight way of prayer. Right? So when you talk about meditation, gratitude being the highest form of meditation, to the Creator is the first sign of a nation has truly recovered from slavery. So as I get deep into it, one of the greatest observations of prayer can be seen when man looks into the face of man and see the image of Allah himself who speaks within. That's our Morse Quran, chapter 8 and 10. So when I talk about our surahs and things, a lot of this stuff is pray. It's prayer. And surah is an Arabic word, which means a degree or step, complete within itself, yet a portion of the whole. Ayat, also Arabic, meaning a revelation, sign or guidance, the 7 degrees of, the Fatima or the Fatimid or the Fida. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to Allah, the cherisher, the sustainer of the worlds. Most gracious, most merciful, justice, master of the day of judgment, salvation. Y'all know our Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Do we do worship, and thine aid we seek. Thou wast straightway the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed the grace, those whom portion is not wrath, and those who not astray. Amen. But you know our Moorish American prayer. But then understanding the Al-Fada and the Moorish American prayer. You got to understand those. I'm going through it. We talk about our ayats. I don't want to stay too deep in it. I'm just giving you a summary. The master day of judgment, our Moorish American prayer. Verse 4, Allah is my protector, my guide, my salvation. You know, in this fourth elevation. What? This fourth elevation. Remember I told you all these degrees. In this fourth elevation, the Muslim submits to one, the reality and spirit of the infinite being, which exists beyond carnal birth and death, that slave to sin called life. Man is the thought and the essence of Allah. He is therefore immaterial, eternal, free to act, and therefore accountable for his actions. Moorish Quran 36 and 7. When we talk about our ayat number 5, thee do worship and thine aid we seek. Moorish American prayer by night and by day. You know, but I'm gonna get into adapt. When we talk about hallowed name, Allah we pray, Aman. Aman is one of the most ancient attributes of the one great God. Amen was handed down by the ancient ones to Egypt. In the scripture, when he say, I am Aman, or I am Amen, Egyptian adapts like myself and others, and was used in Mayat, that constitutes the divine laws, from the first action of creation, the physical world, to psyche of man. It must be remembered that our Prophet Noble Drew Ali and myself go on the YouTube page more, is an Egyptian adapt master. We ain't no European Masons, and brought to the Moorish the pure truth. Our prophet was not one of today's Egyptologists. None of that crap. Their writings like Alexander the Greek, Aristotle, Socrates, and many other Romans before them never reflects the true ancient Kemetic logic, philosophy, nor holistic culture. And as the Arabian ladder referred to the great God of Allah with 99 attributes, the ancient Kemetans named for one God was Neter, N-E-T-H-E-R. We talk about the Meta-Neter. The Neter was worshipped through his holy attributes. For example, we talk about the Ra, which means life force, Atim, which means formless consciousness, Nu, which means infinite, formless, indestructible energy, the Ta or the Fa or the Pa, P-T-A-H, which means omnipresence, omnipotence, or omniscience, the U, which means be or speak, utterance, worlds into existence, the Amen, which means hidden life, is hidden nature, consciousness, and imperfectible. Noble Drew Ali refers to Amen in our questions. So, when we talk about adapt prayer, the first history and warnings of prostration, the forefathers of Lemur and Asia, known as the ancient Moabites, are the true divine fathers of the world's first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind. So when we talk about prayer and meditation, it's a lot of adapt prayers and rituals. Prostrating, where I recite the Moorish American prayer, can be very effective when sent by the breath. But the Moorish Americans are hereby warned, performing the prostration while enemy territory are strictly forbidden in the word of Islam. When you read Surah 4, 102 and 104, to prostrate in prayer, knowing the population of what's going on. So I'm done. So if y'all want me to talk about tomorrow about our Moorish Salat, and we don't do things the Orthodox way, we do it the Moorish way, I will. I'm done. Islam, Morris.